Well, the U.S. Senate again rejects competing bills to end the government shutdown. Hey everyone, Johnny here, Don't Speak News. Well, did we expect anything different? I didn't. And why? Well, because of the Genius Act and Project Stargate and all of that stuff. I think they're going to keep this government shutdown going. And then, like Trump has been saying, use it as a reason or an excuse. Like he said today in a statement that it's like the Democrats are handing him all these cuts on a silver platter. And he expects to save billions of dollars and come closer to balancing the budget and all that once he gets rid of all the government employees they're talking about getting rid of. 700,000, maybe more. So they say a series of discussion and votes over the past week have failed to produce a government funding deal that both sides support. Well, both sides are being told not to support it. So they're never going to get it passed because that's part of the plan, in my humble opinion. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're not ready for the complete rollout yet, but it sure looks like it because if you look at what's going on around the world in regards to this, here we go on Telegram. 17 countries have rolled out or passed digital ID laws in the last 3 months. They have the EU, which encompasses more than just one country, obviously. The UK, Laos, China, Taiwan, Mexico, Zambia, Canada, Ethiopia, Thailand, Vietnam, Australia, Costa Rica, Switzerland, and Papua New Guinea. Totally just a coincidence, I'm sure. And I think the United States is next, based on everything that I've been seeing. I just watched a video today of a Russian vlogger who's over in Thailand, and his bank account just got shut down yesterday for this very reason. They've gone all digital. And since he's a foreigner in Thailand, he's not allowed to keep a bank account, apparently. So, and he's also facing extradition to Russia for draft dodging. But anyway, the point being is it's going around the world and they're getting serious about it now. But just a coincidence, I'm sure. Yeah, exactly. So I don't think a lot of these jobs will be coming back. And that's what Trump had to say today when the press was asking him about it. In fact, maybe we'll get to that in a minute, but there's so much to cover today. I don't know. We'll have to see because Trump also said yesterday that he's open to invoking the Insurrection Act. And he's talked about this before in his previous administration. The comments came a day after a federal judge blocked the president from sending National Guard troops to Portland, Oregon. And so since these activist judges, as they say, as they call them, are blocking his ability to send National Guard troops to different states, different cities, now he's talking about invoking the Insurrection Act so that he can do it without their approval and without worrying about going to court. And I think that's what he's been shooting for this entire time anyway. So I'll put the links up to all these in the on the website, don'tspeaknews.com. But I'm kind of cruising through them right now because we got a lot to cover, including this. Is Netanyahu doing the dirty work for Blackrock? How did I know that Blackrock would be involved in this somehow? The Gaza Special Economic Zone. So here's the plans for Gaza, the real plans. So an international group of investors are planning to create a state-of-the-art special economic zone in the Gaza Strip. The plan has reportedly already been approved by President Trump. So I reposted this from globalresearch.ca. Thanks to Jazli over at Global Research for sending this my way for reposting. They send me articles to look at and then decide if I want to repost them, and this one is excellent. So Gaza is described less as a society than as a distressed asset to be flipped. This is disaster capitalism at its sharpest. It is devastation reframed as the precondition for speculative profit. At the end of August, President Trump met at the White House with his Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner, and former British Prime Minister Tony Blair. The gentlemen cordially discussed the 38-page expose from an investor group. So while BlackRock is not mentioned in the 38-page document, a UN report by F. Albanese confirms that BlackRock is funding several companies which are supporting Israel. The Albanese report identified U.S. multinational investment companies BlackRock and Vanguard as the main investors behind several listed companies. So they're leveling all of this for corporate profit, guys. That's one reason. There are many contradictions in the document. It is personalized and in many regards superficial, as outlined by Herman Hoppe. The crucial and strategic issue is Gaza's, Gaza's multi-billion-dollar maritime gas reserves, which are not mentioned in the report, but I'm sure they're going to be included at some point. So there it is, guys. It says here a brief note on the Abraham Accords in 2020. In the wake of the Corona campaign, Israel, Bahrain, and the United Arab Emirates signed a treaty that de facto stipulated close cooperation between the three countries in the areas of economics, military affairs, and foreign policy. And there you see them right there. Now, according to this plan, the Gaza Strip, formerly still a separate state under Hamas control, is to be completely leveled in order to build an ultramodern special economic zone modeled on Singapore. A supranational trust company is set to administer the Gaza Strip for 10 years, and that's what Tony Blair would be in charge of. Current residents of Gaza are to be given the choice of emigrating or staying and being housed in special complexes. Those who emigrate voluntarily will receive a cash advance of $5,000, as well as a 4-year rental subsidy as a startup aid. The investors expect that a quarter of the Palestinians will accept the offer of emigration. And here are some of the plans. Illustrations of the plans. Smart cities, of course. 6 to 8 smart cities, in fact, are to be built on the territory of the Gaza Strip. A circular railway bears the name of the Saudi Arabian Crown Prince and de facto ruler, Prince Mohammed bin Salman. A massive factory complex bears the name of Tesla entrepreneur and oligarch Elon Musk. The Associated Leisure and Hotel Resort, already familiar to us from a promotional video released by the White House, bears the name of the incumbent U.S. President Donald Trump. This futuristic conglomerate, managed by artificial intelligence, will be connected to the Saudi Arabian test tube city of Neom. The newly constructed port facilities are intended to significantly facilitate trade between India, the Arab world, and Europe. And so I'll let you guys go ahead and read the rest for yourselves. It's kind of lengthy, but a very, very good report, very comprehensive. And as you can see, they've got it all planned out. From a demolished Iranian proxy to a prosperous Abrahamic ally is what they're saying. And they all were signing the accords back in 2020. And there we go. A supranational trust company is set to administer the Gaza Strip for 10 years. Wow. And of course, there's the MBS railway that they're talking about. Mohammed bin Salman. Elon Musk will have his buildings in there and all of that. Wow. It's all coming around, guys. Just like I just showed you around the world, right? All over the world. And they're all in lockstep is what they're doing, just like the Rockefeller plan said. And more news from the New York Times. Trump calls off a diplomatic outreach to Venezuela. This move paves the way for a possible military escalation against drug traffickers or the government of Nicolas Maduro. Trump ordered to stop negotiations with Venezuela. I didn't even know they were going on. Opening the possibility for military action, according to the New York Times report, citing sources. The U.S. president was disappointed by Maduro's unwillingness to resign and his denial of ties to drug cartels. The White House has already developed several military escalation plans, including removing Maduro from power. An administration representative stated that Trump is ready to use every element of American power to stop drug trafficking into the U.S. Well, if that were really the case, then they'd be talking to Colombia and Bolivia and all the other countries that are importing drugs into the U.S. But anyway, they want the gas and they want the oil. They want the gold reserves as well. Venezuela has huge gold reserves. And that's what they want. And the corporations are demanding Trump get it for them. And so that's what he's doing. And then here, it says the IDF killed its own civilians as the Israeli media exposes the truth about October 7th. So they keep talking about October 7th and how all their people were slaughtered. Well, they killed a lot of their own, along with the terrorists. They killed the hostages they were about to take along with them. So a lot of the people that were killed on that day were killed by the IDF, not the Palestinians. Just saying. It says here Israeli media reveals how the IDF, Israeli Defense Forces, bombarded their own homes to eliminate both Hamas fighters and hostages. Desperate commanders ordered strikes even on civilians. And here's all the evidence. The Haaretz report. Field commanders say they made difficult decision to shell houses with their occupants inside, killing terrorists and hostages alike to regain control. Tank shelling. An I-24 reporter in Kibbutz Bari noted small homes were destroyed by tank fire, with shrapnel damage consistent with heavy weapons, not Hamas small arms. Hostage testimony. Yasmin Parat, a Nova survivor, stated Israeli forces eliminated everyone, including the hostages in heavy crossfire. Apache helicopters. An Apache pilot admitted in an interview with Mako that they fired rockets at cars, many of which had hostages inside. So, with friendly fire, survivors described being shot at by Israeli forces who mistook them for militants. Now, here's an Israeli saying that it was a setup and that everybody knows this. Check it out.
Everyone knows. What happened on October 7th was an Israeli setup.
What? State of Look at him smile.
It was an Israeli setup.
Well, the Mossad says, by deception, thou shalt do war. That's their motto, and that's what they're doing. And you just heard it from their own lips. So there we go, guys. That's a quick update around the world. Venezuela, Gaza, Trump talking about invoking the Insurrection Act here in the States, and of course, the government shutdown continues because they want it to. And that's all there is to it. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll surprise me and they won't pull this AI rollout like I think they're going to. They're going to use this as their excuse, their cover, to say, well, we're just going to have AI replace all these jobs and we're going to save all this money. Isn't that great? So that's what I think they're planning on doing. And yes, this had affected our household as my wife works for the government and she's been furloughed along with, thousands of others. So, but we rely on God, not the government, for our strength and for our source. He's our source. And so I will keep my faith in Jesus Christ. And that will be it for now. Don't forget, don'tspeaknews.com is home base for all that we do. I put a lot of stories here that we just can't report on anywhere else. And so if you'd like to subscribe to the website, you can click on this tab here. And then there's a box to subscribe right there. There's also one pop-up that you'll get when you're on the website if you want to subscribe. You don't have to, obviously, but it is there if you'd like to stay updated. Then Don't Speak News at Proton Mail is how you would contact me. And then channel support tab is right here. All the ways to support us are listed right here. And we thank you very much for that. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. So obviously funding is super important. And then Rumble, BitChute, Telegram, that tab is here. And these are all the different places you can find us around the internet. And that's about it because we get kicked off of everywhere else. And that would be it for now, guys. God bless. Take care. Johnny Storm. Don't Speak News.